Hello there, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Super Cast Brothers, the only Smash Brothers podcast in the entire world of Reality 64-B. What does that mean? Don't worry about it. It's fine. And it's gonna be a bit of a different episode here today. This is a Smashtopia episode of Super Cast Brothers, but for you video watchers, you'll notice I'm alone today. It's just me. No Jonno, no special guests. Just me today. Zantok, otherwise known as Lister. That's me, don't forget it. So, first of all, I need to explain a couple things. Schedules, Jonno is fine. If you're concerned that Jonno might be there's something wrong, no, he's fine, as far as I'm aware. But sometimes schedules are just a problem. Recently, I took a trip down to the Tucson area to go visit Jonno, and we had a good time. I was there for a couple weeks, and we even got a couple episodes recorded. One for Super Cat Brothers, our on topic about potentially writing a Smash Brothers fan fiction someday in the future, and then we also did an episode of Angel Wada with a couple of our friends. But then we turned out to be very behind schedule on uploading videos, so I had to get that taken care of. And then we were also just we could not find time to get together in the following weeks to be able to get a character moveset done and then have a day where we could record an episode together. And I'm telling you this, I'm recording this the night before this episode is going live. So, if that doesn't tell you how screwy schedules have been lately between both of us, I don't know what else would. So, John and I discussed what we wanted to do, and it was either record the episode late and just deal with it, or I do what I like to call Plan C. Why is it Plan C, not any other letter? Don't worry about it. It just is. I could have gone with Plan Z for Zantok, which honestly, you know what? Fuck it. It's Plan Z now. Plan Z for Zantok because Zantok is alone. So what is Plan Z? Plan Z is something that I have had in my back pocket kind of ever since season 3. I had this idea of like, what if there happens to be a Smashtopia episode where Jono just cannot be available because of his schedule and we have to do something. So my idea is to make a character live here with anybody that happens to be listening. And I get to kind of talk through what my process is as I'm going through making a character. And on a good day, a character can take me about 2 hours if I'm able to keep things, 1 to 2 hours if I'm able to like keep on top of things and it's a character that's fairly easy to research. Some characters are a bit more of a struggle for researching, and that's always a problem. Always a problem. So I had to think about like, okay, if I'm doing an episode like this where I'm going to be doing a character on my own and showing off and explaining kind of how I go about things, I need to pick a character that would be one, recognizable, two, like something that I would want to do, something that would be easy for me, but can't be something that's too niche. But I also don't want to do something that Jono might want to do an episode of that we work on together. And also something that's not going to be super complicated and have a lot of mechanics to them, because that would just take too much time. I would like to be able to fully conceptualize this character today, even if I don't like write out all the certain little small details. I can at least verbalize the broad strokes. And it was honestly a difficult choice of what character to go for. A Pokemon would have been the easiest thing in the world, but considering the last couple seasons, we have done a episode where we make Pokemon movesets live together. That felt like it was like we tried that territory, and that's where we have like a special dedicated episode. I was also thinking it's like, oh, pick another Final Fantasy protagonist. I've done quite a few for movesets. In fact, a month or two ago, I was in a big Final Fantasy mood, and I did a whole lot of Final Fantasy stuff, more than just characters. And I still need to finish some of them. I just getting back home from the vacation, my time has gone elsewhere. I need to get back to it though. I considered some Fire Emblem. I considered some Mario. Some other smaller characters that kind of felt like they would end up being too niche, like Pooh from Earthbound. I figured, I have a concept in mind for him, and I think I'd be able to do it. He kind of felt like he might be too niche for this episode. I was like, okay, a Mario character, there's not a lot. I mean, no, there's a lot, but it's like we've done the lion's share of the big names, and the ones that were left available, I didn't really feel strongly about, or at least ones that like I didn't want to do without Jonno. I also considered remaking some older character moves that I'd done years ago, like Dixie Kong or Isaac from Golden Sun. I think either of them could have been good. But in the end, I decided to go with a character who, while they may not be recently from a game, technically speaking, I've had a concept for this character for a few years now. I just haven't ever sat down to actually build them out. So I figured, I guess this is the day. So we're going to be going over Celica. Oh, I need to change the side of her picture. We'll show her bigger. We'll show her big first. Celica. Celica is a Fire Emblem protagonist who actually comes from the second Fire Emblem game, Fire Emblem Gaiden. She's one of the two main protagonists of that game alongside Alm, who the two of them knew as real young little kids, and they grew apart and got involved in war. Celica is both a sword-wielding character, but also a light magic wielder, which provides something new for a Fire Emblem fighter in Smash, where our only magically aligned character is Robin. And then, on this podcast, we've done other Fire Emblem characters that weren't just sword fighters. We did Lyn, who was sword and bow. We've done Tiki, who was a Maniquette. Maniquette? Doesn't matter. And I know we've done a few others who I don't remember off the top of my head. I know Jonno did Ranulf, who was a cat Laguz. So there's definitely been a good amount of Fire Emblem, but we haven't done anybody that's really delved into magic. I don't think. I'd have to check the records, and now that I think about it, maybe I should. Hmm. Yeah, screw it. Why not? Let's check the record books and see what Fire Emblem characters we have done on the show before. So I have this all kept out in our notes document that we use. Let's see here. Where's Fire Emblem? So we have done, yeah, we did Lindis. We did Byleth, who I guess Byleth did have a teensy bit of magic involved when we made our new Byleth moveset, since we weren't satisfied with the one he has in Ultimate. And then that's it. That's the only other character that we've done. Wow, we've only done 4 Fire Emblem characters. That actually seems kind of small, but I guess this is season 7, so maybe that sounds right. I don't know. Anyways, this is going to be our 5th. Celica, a priestess of the divine goddess Mila. At least I think that's Mila's title, divine goddess. I could be wrong. I may be misremembering things. But Celica, her game, well, originally it never released outside of Japan. It did get a remake after the success of Fire Emblem Awakening as Fire Emblem Echoes Shadows of Valentia. And then she also was DLC in Awakening. She, among almost every character in existence, is a character in Fire Emblem Heroes, which is where this particular art of her comes from, if you're looking at the video. And she's also one of the emblem characters in Fire Emblem Engage. So she's definitely got presence, and that means she is technically in the most recent Fire Emblem game. Technically. I don't remember how important her particular echo, or her particular emblem is. There's only really 3 I can think of at the moment that have any kind of story significance, and really it's only 2, with the 2 most important being Marth and Seliph, and then Micaiah has a little bit of a chapter on her. I feel like Celica has a little bit, but I can't remember too much. It's been a few years since I played that game. So, Celica. She's considered to be a priestess class in Gaiden and Echoes, and a mage or sage in Awakening. So, now that we've talked about Celica, I'm going to move her off here to the side of the video, because while we're doing this, I'm going to be showing, I'm not only going to be talking about my process, but I'm going to be showing how I'm doing all this. So for those of you watching the video, welcome to my my Chrome browser. that I'm going to be using while we make an episode for Celica. If you are listening to the audio portion of this episode, or audio version, I should say, not portion, you won't see anything, uh, but maybe you can picture it in your mind's eye as I describe things. So first of all, what I use whenever I'm making my movesets is I do everything in Google Docs. I have one document that's like, here's where all my characters are stored. One that's like, here's all my stages. One for my items, assist trophies, bosses, everything. Uh, and you may notice when you look at the screen here that this document says characters 2. Yeah, I've done so many characters that Google Chrome said you can't type in this document anymore. It's too big. So I had to make a second one. And I have over here, like, I have a table of contents of all the characters that are in this document. Like, so I keep a record of all this. Like, if the Smashtopia wiki ever goes down, I still have all of my stuff. Anything that anybody else put in the Smashtopia wiki, I don't have records of. So hopefully they do if things ever do go down. But like you can see in here, I have movesets for Komaru Naegi, uh, Arataki Ito, Ravio, Dwight Fairfield, Squall Leonhardt, Kamek. Most recently, Zach Fair from Final Fantasy VII, which actually isn't even uploaded yet. It is completed, but it's not uploaded yet. But I'm going to go ahead and click on that one, so that's the one that's been the most recent. Because that way you can see in here all of my stuff. I have things in a whole strict format that I do. I have name of character. I have what picture they're going to have on the wiki. Their series, games that they've been in. I always cap it to, I always have to be like, what is their original game? And I also pick up to 3 other games that they've been in, because when I put things on the Smashtopia wiki, we have boxes for those in the info box. I pick a home stage for them, my taunts, my entrance animation, my Kirby hat, my victory poses, my special moves, final smash, special abilities or unique traits, my extra skill, and I've honestly debated moving these unique traits below the extra skill, because that's actually where it would be in the on the Smashtopia wiki. That field is below extra skill, but I never really made the change here. Maybe I do it now with today when doing all this. That just might be appropriate. I have like a brief info on the character, which is what will be like their bio or their description. And I come up with, at most, usually at most, some characters break the rules, at most 10 costumes for the character. Usually just alternate colors, sometimes costumes with some differences. The first one's always the default, and the second through 10 are like, okay, I give them a name, and I say what they look like and what their inspiration is. So, whenever I'm making a new character, I just copy whatever was the most recent one I worked on. In this case, again, Zach Fair. Copy all that. It takes a little bit. And then I go down below it, paste it, and now I gotta start making some changes. So I'm gonna delete everything under alternate colors except for the default. Retype 2 through 10. Delete all the brief info on the character. Delete the long extra skill for Zach. Delete what's under special abilities. And you know what? I am gonna go ahead and just move that now, because that makes more sense based on where things are on the wiki. That said, I have brief info at the bottom, just above alternate colors, but that's the first thing at the top of the Smashtopia wiki article for characters. So there's an argument that I should move that too, but I'm not gonna. But I have to delete everything else. I do keep the names of things in there because, I'm going to erase it eventually, but this way I don't have to... It's just easier for me to keep that there. Got to get rid of our victory poses and all the other smaller animation details. What games they've been in, their series, their picture. And then the first thing I do when I actually start changing things is I type in their name. This way, if I end up having to step away or if the page gets refreshed, I'll be able to look in the table of contents and there will be name Celica. And I'll know, hey, look, there's where I got to get back to. Perfect. Now for picture. Whenever I'm going to get information on any of my characters, I tend to go to whatever is the appropriate wiki for their game franchise. For Fire Emblem, there are a couple different wikis out there, but I tend to use fireemblem.fandom.com. I know there's some shit with fandom that has been happening, and I am not happy with it. Smashtopia is on the fandom wiki as well, and I've been looking at changing that and hope maybe someday actually getting like my own actual website for things that can be both Smashtopia and Super Cast Brothers. But that's a ways off. But this wiki just has better information. I like how it's structured more than the other Fire Emblem wiki that's out there. So on here, Celica, there's a picture of her. I don't really want to use that picture though. So what I just go to the gallery. I'll go to the gallery and I'll look at what my options are. Because whatever picture I choose is the picture that they're going to have on the Smashtopia wiki. And I'll typically grab a couple that I think might be good, and I'll open up a new tab, as you can see me doing here. And those are all the ones I'm going to... Actually, no, we'll grab this one too. Those are the ones that we're going to be grabbing. So then I'll just go through each tab. And I'll bring the picture up to their full size. That one's too big. Why are we zoomed in? And I'll just go one by one comparing those, see like what picture I like the best. Now, Awakening had some weird art for characters. For legacy characters. I don't know why they did. Like, their Awakening's version of Celica, this is just Pyra from Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I mean, what? Look at the face. Look at how the red is. Look at the fucking shorts. That's just Pyra. We're not using that one. To see this picture, this is like Herb from Echoes of Valentia, but like there's this weird texture on her that just makes this picture just like unusable to me. And we see that here again with this picture. It's like, oh, I can't use that. I can't use something from her home game. That sucks. This one, it's actually really better about it, but there's something about her face just looks really weird, that smile. So we don't like that. We did like her main picture from the game. Like that one looks pretty good. And then we have her heroes art, which is pretty solid. It's what we have up on the side of our episode here, right below my lovely little camera. Her battle animation from Heroes. Sometimes I'll use those for Smashtopia. Sometimes it kind of depends on what's happening. I think in this case, I would rather use the base version than the attack animation. But then we have her Brave alt from Heroes, which I believe is based off of her original art from the original version of her game. Thank you, Chrome. Kinda. Chrome, what the fuck, man? Stop it. It kinda looks like that. No, yeah, you can definitely tell it's inspired by it. So I would consider that, but considering that's like an alternate costume for her, I don't think I'd do it. I might use that as an alternate costume for her in general, though. That's not a bad idea. And then this is her 3D render from Fire Emblem Warriors, which is the exact same pose as her artwork from Echoes of Valentia. And honestly, it kind of does look better. But I'm going to say no to that. I think we're just going to go ahead and go with the heroes art. That way I can also do, if I choose to, when it comes to the alternate costumes, I can use the heroes art of her Brave outfit, which is basically an upgrade version of her original game's outfit. That, I think, would pair well artistically. So I take the link from that, I go to my Google Doc, and I put that under picture. There we go. And also just make sure that I save this image onto my computer. I have a folder that's called Smashtopia, and inside Smashtopia there are more folders like character stage, item assist trophy, all of that. But I actually don't put her in the character section yet. I just put her in the Smashtopia section, and then once the character is on the wiki, then I actually will move her picture into the character folder, because that means they're completed. So I've got that picture saved in my computer now. I can close this tab. And, let's not show the Super Cast Brothers planning document. That would be, I mean, on that tab it was actually safe, but I don't want to reveal future episodes. That'd be bad. So next up is just some more very simple information. I put Fire Emblem as her series because that's the game she's from. I put what game she's appeared in for my words. Her first appearance was Fire Emblem Gaiden. I'm also going to put down Fire Emblem Shadows of Valentia. That's another game she's in. And then I'll go ahead and put down, instead of Fire Emblem Heroes, I'm going to put down Fire Emblem Warriors, since she's one of the few non-awakening slash Shadow Dragon characters and Fates, that's characters that are in that game. There are not many that are from those three games. I'll go ahead and give her the nod there. And then for the fourth one, I'm kind of thinking I'll do Engage. There we go. And then home stage, we're going to save that for later. Yeah, I think we'll save that for later. Because usually what I do, I mean, after I have figured out, like, okay, what character we're making, and I put down, like, what their games are and get their picture and everything, the next thing I do is I need to figure out what their moves are going to be. Because if I can't conceptualize a move set for this character, and again, we only do special moves around here. We don't worry about tilts and aerials and smash attacks because that's just too much for us to deal with. And it will typically just be like, swing sword hard, spins around, kicks. We don't worry about it. Only the special moves. But if I can't conceptualize a character's attacks, then there's no point in coming up with anything else. Why bother making taunts or a Kirby hat for a character if I don't even have an idea of how they're going to fight? Kind of important, you know? Taunts and things can always be bullshitted later, but attacks, it's kind of necessary. So, again, I will always go to wikis whenever I'm researching my characters. That's where I'm going to get the most information. Some wikis are not good, and I struggle with the character. The next best thing is to actually look up Let's Plays on YouTube, and see like how a character moves, how they attack, like what are some of their attacks, what are some weapons that they have, do they have any special techniques. Sometimes when I'm really struggling, I actually might Google Celica Smash Brothers, and I'll see what ideas that other people have come up with. I don't like to steal ideas from other people, but sometimes an attack name will inspire me with something, or I'll see how they're describing an animation. I'm like, ooh, that's cool, but what if I did this with it, and I'll twist it up in my own way. But with Celica, I think Celica should be relatively easy to do. Again, Celica is a swordswoman. She is also a mage using light magic. And what I want to focus on with Celica is her. Where I would start with her is because like swords are swords are swords. A sword can do what a sword can do. She doesn't have any kind of special sword, or it's like a hook sword or a katana or anything like that. She's just like a normal, basic ass sword. So there's no point in really looking into sword techniques that she can do in the game because it's just going to be like, okay, here's her attack animation, here's her critical hit animation. And to be fair, sometimes those critical hit animations are unique for a character and can be interesting, such as the case with Lyn, or having Marth's critical hit animation be turned into his final smash. That can work. So what I'm going to be looking at here to start out with is I'm looking at the stats and abilities that Celica has had in her games. So in Gaiden, we can see here that her base stats uh, are that she starts out as the Priestess class, which I can also open a new tab to see what the Priestess has access to. And I'm also going to open up a notepad document, which you won't be able to see, and that's where I'm going to keep some notes of things that are possible for Celica, and that's a lot of times what I'll do. So we see here that she starts out, she has access to fire magic, and then at later levels she'll get Seraphim, Thunder, Recover, Excalibur, I have to spell correctly, and Ragnarok. And then the Priestess class, I can open up here. This says, oh, that's Fire Emblem 2, that's not, oh no, yeah, Fire Emblem 2, that's correct. What is, oh, weapon level, sword, black, and white magic. Same thing with Fire Emblem 15, which is Echoes of Valentia. It promotes into Prince. Oh, that's in Warriors. It promotes into Princess. Interesting. That's another thing. Is like because Celica is in Fire Emblem Warriors, I could look up that game and just watch her attack animations to see how she moves, how she swings her blade around, how she uses her magic. Be like, okay, that can inspire me and give me new ideas. Because with all these spells, like they'll look a certain way. So I'd want to see like how do they look in the game, so I can figure out like, okay, do I like this animation? Can I make this animation into a Smash Bros. Attack? Because sometimes even though something is very fitting to a character's identity, when you look at how that attack is presented, especially in a 2D tactical RPG or in other side scrolling games, sometimes they just do not translate into the platform fighter that is Smash Brothers. It's also really hard sometimes with Smash for those characters to have an attack that fits for their up special. That has been a struggle with so many things. But I don't see anything else here on the Priestess class. Oh, it looks like also in Fire Emblem 2 and 15. Oh, that's different. In 2, she can also get promoted to Princess. But in the remake, you can promote her into Princess or Enchantress? Interesting. What are those? Let's see here. See if it tells me anything new. Princess. Okay, yeah, again, sword, black and white magic. It's not saying anything special about them. Not like what they get with it. Priestess is exclusive to Celica. She automatically promotes into it. And that's really it. Apparently in Warriors, Princess is a clone of Marth's Lodestar class, and she can use staffs in that game. Okay, which is also a thing in Fire Emblem 4, which is not her game. What is Enchantress then? It's an overclass, which is the promotion for the Priestess class, where they learn Mire in Death? What? Huh. And Celica can become that? What is an overclass? Oh, it's paid DLC. I see. Okay. So I'm gonna write down Mire in Death, but they're kind of gonna be like, yeah, probably don't do these. I don't think it really fits the identity that we want to go for with Celica. So I'm gonna close out on those because those are not gonna help us. And I'm going to keep on going on reading on Celica here. So in Fire Emblem Awakening, Celica gets a few different skills. Rightful King, Tone Fair, Miracle, Aegis, and Dual Support Plus. Now, typically, Fire Emblem skills are unusable for special moves in Smash. Some, Ether, work. Not all. Also, I can also see Spot Pass. She has Magic +2 in Focus. I'm just opening these all in different tabs. And then as an enemy in COI3, whatever COI3 is, she has nothing, but she does have the Arc Wind as a spell. Huh. Okay, I can write down Arc Wind. All right, so let's look at these different skills to see if they're even going to be usable for Celica here. So Rightful King, it makes some different skills have it buffs them by 10%. Unusable. That doesn't work for us. Tome Fair increases magic by 5 when you're equipped with the tome. Unusable. Doesn't help. Miracle. Oh, this just lets you survive when low HP. No, it doesn't help us. Aegis halves damage from bows, tomes, and dragonstones. Again, not usable. Well, actually, you know what? That might work. That might be a potential down special or extra skill where Celica could activate Aegis and take less damage from projectile attacks. So you know what? That actually has potential. I'm gonna go ahead and write down Aegis. Dual support plus increases support bonus effect with other units. Useless. Magic plus. Magic +2 is earned by level 1 mage. What? Oh, it increases your magic stat. Yeah, no, useless. And finally, focus. Critical plus 10 when there are no allies around you. Useless. We can't use that. We also do see on here for next episode Shadows of Valentia, we see that in the prologue, when she's just a young girl, she starts out equipped with the golden dagger. And then in Act 2, oh, she also has a golden dagger, and she has the fire tome to begin with. Okay. Now, here's the thing about the golden dagger. We're going to go ahead and look at that, because this is going to be kind of key to what I want my Celica to be. So the golden dagger is one of Celica's personal possessions. It is her main weapon for a time. And she offers to give it up to get the services of mercenary, and he takes it, apparently. It is not known if he actually keeps it, as the golden dagger can be forged. Oh, yeah, and then you can forge it into the beloved Zofia. That is where this becomes interesting. Oh, what is this? Golden dagger teaches plenitude and Earth's boon. Hang on, what are those? Okay, beloved is also just known as soul. Soul is a really reoccurring ability in Fire Emblem. Was not in her original game, but in her remake, restores HP equal to damage dealt. That is what we want. So, why do we want Celica to be able to restore her own HP when she attacks things? We'll get to that in a bit. This ability only is on the Golden Dagger and on Mila's bow. Now, she's also got Earth Spoon on the Golden Dagger, where user may earn provisions upon defeating target. Okay, well, that's not what we want. But then we also get to the beloved Zofia, which is what the Golden Dagger can be crafted into. And what does it have? It is the only way for Celica to learn her exclusive combat art, Ragnarok Omega? I'm sorry, what? She also gets Recovery, Subdue, and Swap. And in Fire Emblem Heroes, it buffs your defense, which not something we're going to do with here. But it's considered her main weapon, so in Smash, I would imagine that would be her main weapon as well. So let's look at these abilities. First of all, I want to look at, okay, Recovery is apparently actually going to be Renewal. So Renewal is also a fairly recurring ability. Where is the version of... Her game isn't in here. Neither of them. So why did Recover link to Renewal? I'm going to type Recover in the bar here. Huh. Oh, no, Recovery. My bad. Recovery. Which goes to a Radiant Dawn only skill. Okay. So that's weird that it's not on this page. But Renewal is another, like, HP recovering one, but it typically is, like, restored HP at the start of your turn. So we wouldn't want that. We'd want the Golden Dagger version. So then we see what the other things that we have on here. Or maybe that was Mercy. No. Or was Mercy Mercy is Subdue. We don't know what that is yet. So Mercy leaves the enemy on 1 HP when attacking. Why the fuck? Why would you want that? I guess it's for XP grinding. But that's weird. Well, we're gonna not have that. Huh. Okay. Swap. User can swap places with an adjacent ally. You could maybe do something with that with the X skill or side special, maybe. Where it's like you do like a very quick swap places kind of deal with like somebody's trying to attack you. Be like, oh, now we switch places and your attack whiffed. It'd be a very small kind of thing like that. So I guess I could write it down as a possibility, but we'll kind of see where we go. And then Ragnarok Omega. Celica's ultimate combat art. Deals magic damage, presumably due to the dialogue font latching in the Omega glyph, the notification for learning the skill in the English version of Valentia. So just name is Ragnarok question mark. A Japanese name is True Ragnarok. Okay. And it looks like it's going to be a big explosive attack. So I'm actually going to, right now, we're going to go to YouTube. We're going to look up Shadows of Valentia spells. Or maybe I should type in Ragnarok Omega instead. Oh, here we go. I think this one will do it. Yeah, this is going to show it. I don't know how loud this is going to be, so I apologize if this is very loud. I'm going to try and lower its volume really low.
It's over.
Okay, she basically just casts a gigantic explosion magic. That's all it is. But that's still potential for Final Smash. So I'm going to go ahead and write that down of Ragnarok Omega. Okay. We'll probably look more at some stuff on here in a bit. But I want to keep on going back here on Celica to see what other things she gets. In Shadows of Valentia, she will learn Fire, Seraphim, Thunder, Recover, Excalibur, Ragnarok, and Aura. Aura was not one that we had previously written down. She learns that at the Regain class? What was the Regain class? We didn't see that as one of her class things earlier. So they're overclass for the princess. Okay. Guess for the ability to use the Aura spell. So now I want to open up all of these spells and be like, okay, what do each of these do? Some of them, self-explanatory. Others, not so much. And then maybe I can see what their animations are and be like, okay, this is something. So, fire. Simple enough. It's one of the most recurring spells across the franchise. You throw fire. Duh. Valentia, yeah, it says fire is black magic. Does it show? You see what his picture looks like on here? Do we have one for Valentia? Usually, like, even though, like, fire will sometimes have different appearances throughout the different franchise, I try to go for the version aesthetically that character's game is from. So I wouldn't want to look at how Sarah uses it in Thracia 776. I want to see how it is used in Valentia. And it doesn't look like we have it here. We kind of have a guide, but it's just a static picture. So that's not helpful. We have how Celica casts it in Heroes. It's like, okay, it's a combustion. Sure. Nothing else helpful there. But fire, it's still a very simple thing. That kind of makes sense. Seraphim. It's some kind of blast of light, effective against monsters, typically used only by female characters. So it's a good point to have Celica focus on it. Although for some reason Saber can use it. It's like, okay, sure. Do we have any pictures or animations of it? We have a Heroes animation. It's like, okay. All right. We have it how it looks in the original Gaiden, where basically summons a ring of fairies that go flying forwards. It kind of makes sense, actually, now I think about it. And a static picture of Shadows of Valentia. Not too helpful with that. But some kind of holy light, possibly with like angel feathers or angel wings, that could work. Thunder, it's thunder, but is it a thunder ball that shoots forwards, or is it a thunder strike that comes on down? That's the question. It looks like in Gaiden it was a thunderbolt that falls down. Oh, this is FE1 Thunder, but it looks the same as, like, here's like a picture of how it is in Gaiden. Where is... Man, they really do not have pictures of how things work in Valentia, which sucks. Recover. Why is it recover? Oh, I guess because it's handled differently in that game. I don't know. It heals. I don't know if we'll give her recover, especially with the other mechanic I want to do with her, but it's a possibility. Ooh, actually, I just had an idea for Seraphim. What if Seraphim is the up special? And it's like she creates these angelic wings of light, flaps them, and she flaps up into the air. And then her wings would damage it and be like they touch That would make sense. Maybe some light aura around her. I'm not entirely sure about that just yet. Excalibur is apparently a wind tome, or at least in some games. I'm assuming in all. Do I have anything from her game animation wise? Just heroes. Ragnarok, regular Ragnarok, not Omega. So if we have Omega, oh yeah, we could do both because like Ike has Ether and Great Ether, so there's already precedent with that. We have a picture of her casting it. And then Aura. Aura is powerful. It is a big damage light attack. Sometimes has some slight changes to its animation. I feel like I used it, or it's been used for a character on Smashtopia before. Maybe, did we give it to Tiki? We might have given it to Tiki. That's something I'll do sometimes too, is I'll go to our Smashtopia wiki and be like, okay, I want to see if we use the thing or not. Because if we did, and if we use it in a similar way to what I'm already thinking about, I'll be trying to avoid that. So, looks like we did, yeah, we used it as the extra skill on Tiki. Okay, yeah. So I would not want to do that again, because that's just too similar of a thing. So these are all her spells in her original game. Is there anything else that we can pull from for her? And the answer is, oh my god, yes. Because there is Fire Emblem Engage, where she is one of the bond or one of the main like rings that you can get, as to show that like here's our emblems. And she comes with her own skills. She can grant weapons to whoever's using her. She has sync skills. She has an engage skill and an engage attack. So there's definitely stuff we can do here. Why is one of her enemy unit skills favorite food? Wait, no, that's also one of her sync skills. What the fuck? Okay. I'm going to open those here in a second. But first, Fire Emblem Heroes. There's a lot of different versions of Celica. Typically, I usually don't look too hard at Fire Emblem Hero stuff unless I'm really having struggles coming up with something for a Fire Emblem character. Like, I can see, like, okay, the name of their ability is Blazing Light. Ooh, that's kind of interesting. I could use something that's Blazing Light attack. But we'll see how this goes. And I really usually won't look at their extra versions unless like maybe like the brave version of them or legendary. I could look at ascended actually, because that's a whole new special thing with heroes where they're like empowered by their gods. So Mila's Testament. Uh, ooh, that's an animation. Hmm. Summon a giant Mila symbol and then shoot out blue flames. Kinda like that, not gonna lie. She has Saintly Seraphim for her legendary tome. What does that look like? Eh. It's a light and feather explosion. Not much really cool there. And she has a Royal Sword and Night Sky for her brave, and her original just Ragnarok Rising Light. So not. Let's check out Rising Light, actually. Maybe we'll check the other one too. Oh, no animation. It's just a special ability. Okay. Yeah, it's not going to work for us. But we can look at her emblem skills and engage. So we got Holy Stance, Resonance, Favorite Food. We already know about Seraphim, and Ragnarok. Um, Echo, we can see what that is, and Warp Ragnarok, which let me tell you, when I first used Warp Ragnarok and engage, I was like, holy shit, Celica is broken as fuck. So, Holy Stance. When attacked by a corrupted enemy, the user will reflect back a percentage of the damage taken. I don't think that really worked for Smash. I mean, we could have just like she could have a counter technique in general that's called Holy Stance, where maybe she just bats her arm back with a flash of golden light. I don't know. Yeah, I guess I'll write it down, but I'm certainly not super engaged with it. Ha, funny. Then there is Resonance. Resonance is a thing skill unique to Emblem Celica. When attacking with the tome, the user will expend 1 HP at the start of the combat to deal additional damage, with the amount of additional damage being dependent on the tier of the skill. Okay. We're not going to use that. There's Favorite Food. Completely restores the engagement when the user eats leftovers. I'm sorry, what? No. Although now I'm kind of wondering about the idea of eating a packed lunch being a taunt animation or victory pose for Celica. That, hmm, tempting. Honestly, very tempting. You know, fuck it. I'm gonna write it down just so I can have that as a note. Okay. It's reference to provisions from Engage, or not Engage, from Valentia, which is where they can eat like fruit, meat, or drinking water. So, hmm, that might be that's gonna be an animation for sure of some form. Echo. When a unit is engaged with Emblem Celica, using the Echo will allow the user to attack with magic at half damage, and then act again and launch another attack at half damage again. So I guess that's useful, if everyone wise, if you would overkill, but half damage would also do enough. But I don't think it'd really work here. I mean, I could do an extra skill where for a short time, either for a short time or on their next action, they will echo the attack and end up using their special move twice back to back immediately, but at a weakened value. Hmm. I'll write it down. I don't know how I feel about it, but I'll write it down. And then Warp Ragnarok. Whoa. Only be used by a unit engaged with Emblem Celica. You can then warp 10 spaces and then cast Ragnarok, which has a large range. It's nuts. I don't really see a way to use that version of Ragnarok in Smash Brothers, but it's still crazy and engage. And was that all of it? I guess that was all her stuff. Okay, so now what I want to do, we're to close all these extra tabs here. I want to look at Shadows of Valentia. I'm going to type in magic. I'm hoping. Oh wow, that's a full Let's Play where they only use magic. Okay. G- Good on you, I suppose. Maybe if I type in magic show because I'm looking for a video where they will show up the animation of all the different magics. As a class showcase. If I can find what I'm looking for, that'll be perfect. If I can't, maybe I look at engage, or I will look at warriors. Magic animation. Let's try looking for that. I'm not seeing what I'm hoping for. Damn. Really? We don't have a video of anybody showing up all the different magic spells? I mean, I get that's sometimes hard to put together and edit, but I was really hoping somebody had done it. Um, if I type for all magic. Nuts. Really? Okay. Well, here's what I'm currently thinking. Something I need to talk about here with Celica, and why I want to make Celica in particular a moveset in Smash instead of another mage like Micaiah, or I mean another light mage like Micaiah, or just other mages in general like Soren or Ivy or Thar. Actually, Thar just on the week already. Kelly Jeller already did that. But like or Lind or Reinhardt is because Valentia, or Guided and Shadows of Valentia, have a unique mechanic with their tomes where there is no weapon durability, but when you cast magic, you sacrifice some of your HP. That's interesting to me. That sets them apart because then I can have a so when Silk uses a particular attack with her golden dagger or the beloved Sophia, she would heal back some of that damage. This is the concept I have for Celica. Use some of your special moves to attack, but take up damage yourself. Use another move with your sword to gain some health back. It's going to be a real give and take. So I'm not seeing anything with this. So I'm going to look up Fire Emblem Engage Magic, see if there's a video of that. Aha! All token spell animations from Engage. Perfect. Now, unfortunately, it's not going to be the animations that I would primarily like to have for Valentia, but this is still a game that Celica is in, so I can use this for some inspiration. The fire is more like a long trail fireball. Okay. I don't want to do like L-Fire, Bogan. I just want to go just the ones that she actually has. I guess Arcwind isn't in Engage. That's fine. Scrolling here. Is there anything else? Seraphin. Oh, it is his Seraphin Celica. Perfect. I want to see this. Well, that's kind of uninspired. Shoots out a ball of light and then it again bursts into feathers. I think I like the idea for my version of Seraphim. Make everything else special. I think that'd work better.
Allow your soul the rest it deserves.
Okay. But still, you know, I can see how it has been. Cannot be. Ooh, there's no Ragnarok. What?
I trust in you.
Do that again.
Allow your soul the rest
All
it
right.
deserves.
And I guess that's all the ones that are the same between her game and this game. So no Excalibur or Aura or anything. What game could I think we're just gonna have to look up Fire Emblem Warriors. Fire Emblem Warriors Celica. Let's look at Moveset Awakening and Muso Dual Muso. Perfect. This is the video that we want to see here. So let's watch this, see what inspiration that we can get for making moveset for Celica. If the video will load. There we go. Okay. Again, I apologize if this is too loud. I do not know. I can't really tell. Trying to make it as quiet as possible. Ooh. They gave her a really quick dash. Some basic quick combos. Okay, a multi-slash that ends with a charge. So for not feeling super inspired, I'm hoping it shows off her magic here soon. Okay, she had a really quick teleporting attack. Oh, hello, Chrome. So like a combos with him. With a multi-loaded strike. Here's the wings. I'm assuming that was Seraphim. Or maybe Ragnarok. Unfortunately, this video is a Japanese moveset, so I don't entirely know what skills roll what. I don't know what she just did there. She used some kind of resource. Sometimes the warrior-like games are a great resource for coming up with ideas. Sometimes not so much, sadly, and it looking like Celica's might not be too. That was her Ragnarok. Okay. Wow. I'm guessing that was her awakening attack? Okay. interesting. I kind of have an idea for what I might do for her final smash now. Like, it'd be the Ragnarok Omega, but I would make it more similar to how that was, like, a lot of fireballs that included into a big explosion. And not even doing a, I don't think I'd even have to do that for a cutscene Final Smash, even. A cinematic. I think that would just be, like, on the stage. Okay, is there... How much more is in this video? Another 2.5 minutes. We can keep on watching this, I suppose. That attack looked like Aura, where she created a giant pillar of light. Here's her multiple light swing attacks. Apologies for my silence, if you were wondering. I'm just trying to watch and pay attention here. See if she's going to do anything else that would be interesting animation-wise. But largely, it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot. Not that I really have, like, inspiring me in particular for this Smash Brothers moveset. Ooh, that was a little different. I want to look back at that. Hang on. So it's her Seraphim attack, but this time, it's like she doesn't dive down. She more like lies down to the ground diagonally towards them. I could maybe have her up special be not only just like an up, but also maybe like a dive bomb. I'm kind of unsure about that. I think I'd rather just have it be an up. Don't know. Okay, there's the Ragnarok again. Power Needle Soldier's still up. Come on. Alright, anything else in the last 30 seconds of this video? Or is this just mission? Okay, yeah, so it's done. I can't see if she has an animation of her victory complete. Will they show that here? They do. So that is likely to be a victory pose for our Celica moveset here. Okay, so now that we've seen that, we're going to return to our Google Doc here. And there's a few things that I feel kind of set on. Some things I'm, not so much. So I'm gonna, down here below, I'm going to write down standard side. I'm going to write down like our different types of specials here before I transfer things up at the top. Just be like, okay, here's our idea generation here. Now we have all of our evidence in front of us, and we can kind of figure out what we're going to do with putting the blood attacks where. Because sometimes things can go into multiple spots. You kind of have to narrow it down. So like fire could go with standard, side, several different places. But I'm going to start here. I'm going to say our up special is going to be Seraphim. Because I like that idea I have where Celica is going to like fly upward, like the wings are going to manifest around or on her back. She's going to fly upwards with a spiral and just hit people with her wings, and they'll get knocked away from her. I don't think I'm going to do the dive back down. I don't think that really fits Celica too much, in my opinion. We also have fire, we have thunder, recover, which we're going to not do. Excalibur. Alright, that's a wind attack. That's right. Ragnarok, we saw that. I'm gonna name her Final Smash not Ragnarok Omega or even True Ragnarok. I'm gonna call this Divine Ragnarok. Smash likes to rename things for their Final Smashes with an extra little flourish, so I'll do that here as well. Standard side and down. Do I do Aegis for down? Maybe. Maybe. I don't... I'm thinking about fire and... I want to look at... Okay, what are other light magic? Is there other light magic in her game? Even though she doesn't use it, like, just if I can just base her on light magic, I think I would prefer the other above giving her fire, thunder, Excalibur, or not Excalibur, yeah, Excalibur, because that's just not satisfying to make her be multi-element. I mean, technically she is, but it's more satisfying to go otherwise. Oh, are there not very many light magic spells? Oh, I may not have a choice in the matter. Nosferatu. Nosferatu? Well, it's dark magic and awakening. Aura and Abraxas. What is Abraxas? Is that tied to anybody in particular? It's from 3 houses. Multiple characters can learn it. Okay, alright. Maybe we'll look that up. And then Aura. Aura's in a lot of games. It's also in 3 houses. You know what? Let's look up Fire Emblem 3 Houses Magic. See if there's a video of that. Here we go. All magic attack animations. Beautiful. They're not chapters. I have to like scroll through. Shite. No, there should be. I guess it just wasn't loading. Because the video wasn't all the way up yet. Thank you. Okay, yeah, it's not. Will this video be more like what I want? It says things are developing the movements. I guess not. Maybe if I click on it here. Click on this Ragnarok. Okay, now it kind of shows that how I want. So let's see what Ragnarok looks like in 3 houses, because that might also maybe change our mind of how some things could look. Okay, just a explosion that turns into a dome. That's fine. Let's get to Meteor. Wait, no, Meteor. That's not what I want. Excalibur. Okay, it creates a tornado. What is Agnia's arrow? That's not light, is it? It wasn't listed. Okay, I don't know what that was. Okay, here's Seraphim. The 3 houses version of Seraphim. Okay, yeah, again, it's just a small orb that explodes into feathers. Aura. Seeing Dimitri the Mage is cursed. Okay. And it looks like that's all of them from 3 houses, sadly. Wait, I didn't see Abraxas in there. Wait a minute. Where the frick? Maybe if we check this other video, maybe it'll show Abraxas. No. What the hell? Alright, I'm just going to do Fire Emblem 3 houses. Abraxas. Well, these still show up, but it's not in their listed things. So that's weird. Is it this? Because this chapter is for some reason named weirdly? Oh no, Swarm Z. Oh, okay, I see. Osakite. Okay. What is Boar X? Well, I guess as an enemy unit spell only, I guess. There's some gaps in here, so okay, no, that's still bolting. Hmm. I don't know. I can't find what Abraxas is. Well, and if I can't find it, and I don't know what it looks like, we can't do it. Like the description of it calls light from the heavens down on foes. Like, okay, well that just sounds like aura, but reverse. So that's unfortunate. So standard side and down and extra skill. So the extra skill, I'll just tell you, this extra skill is gonna be using her sword. I would like to have her four regular special moves all be spells, and the extra skill is like the one thing that she actually uses like her sword for, besides like normal attacks, smash attacks, and whatnot. I saw that somewhere she had an ability that used, I think I had the word Zofia in it. Maybe not. Maybe that was a heroes thing. Look at her various hero types. Okay, yeah, there's Beloved Zofia. No. Soul of Zofia. What is Zofia in Fire Emblem? What even is that? Like, is that a place? Let's look up what Zofia is. That might tell me something. Zofia is the name of the kingdom, one of the two kingdoms of Valentia. Ooh. Hmm. What do I do with that then? Soul of Zofia could be the name of the attack, the extra skill. What is Soul of Zofia for her again? It's a ability for her. The insurance effects that guarantees foes follow up attacks or prevents units. Okay, yeah. So I would not want to name it strictly Soul of Sophia because that would be inaccurate to what it does. But it could do Grace of Sophia, Blessing of Sophia, Sophia's Might. I could be grandiose and go Holy Sophia Strike, which I'm kind of yeah on that. For now, I think I'm going to write down Grace of Sophia. I kind of like that for a name, for an extra skill. So we still need the standard side and down specials for Celica here. And it looks like I might have to go with the three classic elements, fire, lightning, and wind, which is unfortunate. But if I can at least do it in ways that are different than Robin, that'll work for me. Robin fires on his side special, and he all of his tomes have their whole upgrade things except for the wind, which is always just Elwind. So for fire, I could just have it be like a fireball, which that's one of the ways he used it. But he also used it on his side special, so I wouldn't want to do fire on the side. So maybe standard, especially because like that's the one she starts out with. Um, Excalibur is tornadic, but I don't know how I feel about like creating a tornado around her. How does it look in other games? Let's look up Excalibur here. Maybe we can lift this animation from something else. Yeah, in Three Houses, it's a localized tornado. In other games, okay, in Heroes, it's just like a big old bladed wind that, and then create a tornado. Uh, hmm. I could make it be the down. It's just like she just creates a tornado around her that just basically damages and sucks in enemies before tossing them away after they've been hit a couple times. But it doesn't like leave a lingering tornado. It's like a kind of an anti-air, but also just like an anti-melee attack. That could work. But then I would need to put fire on side special to avoid it. No, it'd have to be fire would be on normal, and then thunder would have to be on side, which would then be the opposite of Robin. So that would work, unless I can do. I don't. I don't have another aura would make sense, but I can't think of a way to do aura differently than what I did for Tiki. Tiki, I basically had it be in the Smashtopia episode that we did for Tiki. My proposal was basically just like, okay, you know how Greninja he uses down special and like teleport to a point. Tiki would use aura to move a point on the ground, and then the aura of light would burst up from that point wherever you chose. I don't have another way I can think of doing it differently and have it still feel like it's the aura spell. Arcwind, Aegis, Swap, Ragnarok. Hmm. Hmm. I'm debating things here. I'm debating. I want to look at Thunder. How does Thunder look animation wise in the different games? Okay, that doesn't help me. This page. Hold on, that animation. I'd rather not use the Awakening version. Okay. Yeah, that's just like a thunderbolt that comes down, which would make more sense for a down special. Hmm. Thunder attacks are always kind of hard too. Fire, Thunder, Excalibur, or Arcwind. Let's look at Arcwind. We can also look at Fire again to see how it looks. Uh, okay, Arcwind is also a tornado. Unhelpful. I could have it be elemental slashes. The sort of like what we saw in Warriors. That's a maybe. Hard maybe. I feel like I need to look up Robin. I need to look up Robin. I have him on the Smashtopia wiki. I'm gonna look and see how I wrote down Robin with his fire and thunder. Arc fire. Oh no, his special was just arc fire. That's right. It's not even a normal fireball. It just flies straight downwards. So I could have fireball be is like a normal side traveling horizontal fireball attack. Other characters would have that too in Smash, but not many of our Fire Emblem characters have that yet. So that is still unique. Okay, we're getting somewhere. So then, Arcwind or Excalibur and Thunder. Okay, and his Thunder, he shoots like a small, weak Thunderball. L Thunder is just like a faster version? That doesn't seem right. Okay, SSB Wiki. Show me how you have Robin written. Did I write Robin's L Thunder incorrectly? Certainly possible. L Thunder is pretty set to recharge. Small fast projectile that traverses the entire stage. I guess it's just like it goes farther than regular thunder does. Arc Thunder is similar, but it will explode on an X if it hits, and Thoron is the big ass laser. Okay, so Thunder on a side special that works a little bit differently. How can I do that? How can I do that? I don't have any immediate idea in mind for doing this. So, and I don't want to just do another Pikachu. Or it's just like, oh, you call Thunder down straight on you. Well, no, because then also that would be down special. I could do coming down at an angle, but then that feels too much like Robin's Arc Fire. And then I'm basically just having Robin's Thunder and Arc Fire, but reflavored to Fire and Arc Thunder, which would not be satisfying. Those are the only ones that she directly learns in her game. Fire, Seraphim, Thunder, Recover, Excalibur, Ragnarok, Aura. I could make Thunder come off as like more of a conal attack in front of her, just like a blast of electricity in front of her. I don't know though. I don't know. How does Excalibur described here? Nothing really that helps there. It looks like it's often just like a projectile slice of wind. So I could do that. If I do that, then Thunder needs to be down special. Is there something I can do to make down special of Thunder be unique compared to other things? Maybe leave some kind of lingering static effect. As like a trap type deal. What are the other versions of Thunder? Like how can Thunder be? Is there anything else besides what Robin already did? Let me see. Anima, Thunder. Elf Thunder, Thoron, Arc Thunder, Rex Bolt. What is Rex Bolt? Oh, huh. Interesting. It's a lot. Okay, so I'm looking at Thunder here again. Just summon a lightning bolt down. I wonder, could I do some kind of delayed attack? So like you pick a point, kind of like again how I have Tiki pick a point for Aura, or how Greninja picks a point for his teleport, and then the Thunderbolt doesn't strike immediately. Maybe like a couple seconds pass, and then it strikes. Or you could charge it. I don't know. I don't know. I was thinking about maybe you could charge it to make it happen immediately, but then you effectively are delaying it because you're just having a charge effect when you're second place. Maybe you don't pick a point. Maybe it just happens in front of you, and you're just like, okay, it's just like a character in front of you, but it happens like a second or two later. I'm kind of liking that actually. That mixes her up a little bit. So it'll be Thunder on down, it'd be Fire on side or on standard. Side would be Excalibur. Is there a way I can make fire be different and interesting? And not just, oh yeah, fireball. Is there something I can do with that? What are these animations? Anything inspiring, or maybe I can have it do like rapid fire. Maybe charge it up so it can be like a little bit bigger, or it just causes an explosion on contact. Maybe that like you don't charge it. It's just a fireball. It dissipates on hit. You charge it a bit, then on hit it creates like a small explosion. Maybe that's the way to do it. I think so. I think that's what I would do. I hate just having it be like, oh yeah, your special is fire, but I think that's what we're gonna have to do in this case. So standard special can be fire. So basic fireball, if it hits, it just knocks them back. If you charge it up, it creates an explosion, which can hit other people that are also nearby and does heavier damage. Side special then would be Excalibur, which is a larger slice of wind. Maybe you can charge it up to increase the height of the wind blade. Up special would then be Seraphim, as we've previously described. Down special would then be, what was it called? Thunder. Final Smash is Divine Ragnarok, which I'll describe here in a minute. And an extra skill is Grace of Zofia. So, first of all, with the mechanic of how Celica would lose HP whenever she uses one of her 4 special moves, which includes Fire, Excalibur, Seraphim, and Thunder, I'm not going to come up with how much HP she would lose for each of them, because that requires balance, and I don't really balancing it is not something I have to worry about, so I don't need to give a hard number. But I do think that charging up fire, or could any of these be charged? Maybe any of these could be charged. And if you charge it up, then you would be sacrificing even more HP. But then Grace of Zofia, would be your extra skill, uh, where there would be a built-in mechanic where you cannot, where you could spam it, but the diminishing returns would be harsh on the HP recovery to the point where you would be basically not getting anything else if you tried to spam this move over and over. But it would be Celica's sword would glow with like a divine bright light, kind of like how we saw in her gameplay for Fire Emblem Warriors. And as far as the type of slash it would be, I think that there need to be some wind up to maybe not wind up since we can't spam it, or maybe there should be. I don't know. That's something I need to debate on when I actually sit down and write this. 'Cause I'm not going to write this all right now. This is the conceptualizing phase for Celica. Um, but yes, exactly what that slash would look like. I don't. Maybe you could do a multi-parter. Maybe and you'd have like each slash is lesser damage, but you recover lesser, or you do one harder slash to recover all in once. I lean more to the latter. Truly, I do. But exactly what that slash would look like. I mean, I could do just like a slash slam down to the ground, like an Ike side smash. Maybe. That doesn't really feel like Celica style. Celica's not a power fighter. So maybe it should be a multi-hit combo, or a dash. We saw her dash. She's had several dash attacks in the Fire Emblem Warriors footage, so you could do that. Point your blade forward, dash forward with it, run people through. Hmm. I'm leaning having it be a multi-hit actually, kind of like Marth's Dancing Blade. It may be it can hit like up to X amount of times. Um, or will you be locked in the animation? Or do you get to click the button multiple times like Marth to time your hits? Make sure to get your full combo. It may be some extra skills that we have in the wiki. Some of them are like, oh yeah, here's a button you just activate. Here's something that activates when you fill up your meter. Or here's something that or you can use, but you have a cooldown, so you can't be using it until X amount of seconds have passed. Maybe the attack wouldn't have a cooldown, but the healing would. That's possible. I'm leaning that. I don't think you need to necessarily time the attacks correctly, but you would need to press the button multiple times to get the full combo out. That way you can cancel out of it early, but if you cancel out of it early, you will only get the healing for the attacks that actually hit. And for other things, like if you're doing the full combo, actually I don't think you'd be able to do full combo if you hit. I think once you miss, the combo is dead. That kind of makes more sense to me. And with it being Grace of Sophia, that does sound like more of an attack that should be like a fast flowing flourish of slash instead of just being like a hard slamming attack like Ike. That makes sense to me. Okay. And then the special abilities would be where we would write down the information about how she would lose HP when she would cast her spells. So that's there. Alternate costumes, I think largely would just be based off of colors, based on some of the different characters. Like there could be, where's Alm? It's like have an alt based off of Alm's color scheme. Uh, like her you could do like that bright blue of the original game, or this more, what is this, turquoise? I think that's supposed to be turquoise. Have a turquoise alt. You could do one off of Valbar, which is a bright orange in the original, or more of a bronze in the remake. That could work for her, for an alt for her. We could pull strictly from Mila, the goddess that she follows, and have more of a green, some light green, some dark green, some white mixed in. I think there's some options there. I don't need to go over the full costumes here now, But I think that's where I'll be looking for inspiration. I could also look at other characters of the franchise who are known for using like light magic, such as Micaiah. Micaiah from Radiant Dawn. So Micaiah would offer a dark red. What would that be like? Maroon, burgundy. I don't really know the names of dark red tones. That with some blue in there. That could be a good alt for her. I'm trying to think of who else are light mage specialists across the franchise, and those are the main two I know of. I'm sure there are others. Uh, I would pull from like Fire Emblem Three Houses, but nobody's really a specialist, quote unquote, in Three Houses. Are there other legendary tomes that are associated with certain characters? Because that would help. Evaldi, that's who's that used by? Does it? Oh, Erica. Apparently that's associated with Erica. So I could do something. Well, that's also red, but maybe you could have it be like a brighter red with some yellow in that alt. What's another light tome? There's also personal tomes. Whose personal tome is Creedy Lad? What a name. That belongs to Sephiran. So you could do like a white and purple inspired alt. That could look nice. I like that. So I'll just write down like Micaiah, Sephiran, Alm, Valder. Did we say another name? We did, and I forgot who it was. It was whoever had Evaldi. Oh, it was Erica. Uh, oh, and there's also. Ooh, I just had a thought for an alt that's kind of bad for Celica because Celica. Ooh, Celica makes mistakes a little bit in her game, which causes her to have a little bit of an issue. It'd be a little bit spoilery, but is there a picture of that? I'm trying to see if there's a picture of what I'm thinking of. It's kind of like her fallen artwork, but I thought shit went a little deeper than that. Which Celica? That's what I'm thinking of. I don't know if she actually like changes appearance or she just like doesn't get corrupted enough to change her appearance in the game and become a witch like other characters are. I'm gonna Google witch. Um, I mean, you could do like a black, dark red one and call it like, yeah, Celica based off a witch because Celica almost goes dark in Valentia. Spoilers, by the way. Mistakes almost very much get made. So that's an alt idea. I'll write that down as well. So now that is all done, we basically have our concept for how she's going to attack and move. I will type up the full details of her special moves whenever I need to. Not right now, because that's just going to take up more time. And we only have about 30 minutes left in this episode. So now is when this is actually the hard part for me, is the animations. And be like, okay, what are we going to do with this? How is this character going to function? What are they going to do when I use the taunt? Or how they look when I win a match? Attacks come to me a lot easier. So I like to always start figuring out the Kirby hat. Kirby hat is really, really easy, usually. So we've got Celica here. Where's our image for Celica? So Celica has this long red hair, and she also wears a tiara or a circlet. How does it describe her appearance on here? Do we have that on this page? No, it is not. So I'm just going to look for circlet. Okay, yes. That is her circlet. It's what she wears. Apparently she only gets that when she travels with the princess class. But I'm seeing even as a child she had like a headband here, or before she would have even been in that class, she still has some kind of circlet. So I don't know. She wears something. I guess she gets a different one when she class changes. So the Kirby hat would basically be Kirby gets Celica's long red hair and the circlet. I could just do the circlet, but I don't think that's enough. Sometimes I like to do mix it up a little bit and like not have the character's hair be there, but do some kind of accessory. But I don't think the circlet would be enough. Um, because I think for Marth he gets like the full hair, right? Time to look up Kirby hats. So yeah, for Crown he gets the hair. Let's see here. Lucina doesn't have the hair, but he has the mask. I was like, okay, that's fine. Martha has the hair and the tiara, and then Roy has the hair. Where Corn and Byleth? Yeah, Byleth has the hair. Corn actually has the dragon head, which is okay. Again, like that's fair. That's something that's very unique to Byleth, and also is fitting with Byleth's or not Byleth, Corrin's standard special move. So that makes sense. So yeah, it's gonna have Kirby will have Celica's hair and circlet atop his head. There it is. Cool. We typed it in. Now for entrance animation, Fire Emblem characters a lot of times will warp onto the stage, and sometimes that's really feckin' boring. The wiki calls them on-screen appearances. To me, I call it an entrance animation. So I'm gonna just check here the Fire Emblem characters, see what each of them have. So Byleth forced on the stage with warp magic. Are they all gonna be that? Crom, warp magic pulls his sword out of the ground. Byleth, you don't pull your sword out of the ground, you just unsheath it. Okay. Corrin falls from dragon form. Okay, you know, that's unique to them. That makes sense. Ike. Ike also warps and then swings his sword. I think we know what's gonna happen. We have a precedent set here. Lucina warps, twirls, takes off her mask. Marth warps, twirls. Where's Roy? Roy's our boy. There he is. Warps, takes the sword out of the ground. Okay, so we kind of know she's gonna warp. So we'll type in here that what do we do with other problem characters on the wiki? Actually, I have made some Fire Emblem characters on the wiki off podcast. I know I made Ephraim. What did I do for Ephraim? Did I veer from warping? Nope. I did not veer from warping. He warps and twirls his spear. Out of curiosity, I was going to check the other Fire Emblem characters that we have on the wiki. We have a number of them. Here you can see. What did I do for Kieran from Heroes? Steps out of a summoning gate. Okay, that's basically his flavor of warping. What do we do for Lindis? Oh, not actually warping. Florina drops Lynn off from the Pegasus. That's different. Medeus probably doesn't warp. Now he flies onto the stage. What about Nurgle? Warps. Ranulf, do you warp or do you just run onto the stage in cat form? You have two. Cat form, you leap onto the stage. Human form, you just walk onto it. Okay. Kind of makes sense, actually. Rhea. Oh, I forgot I made a Rhea move some years ago. Technically a warp, just with a little bit of flavor with the Crest of Saros. Tharja, Kelly Jelly Maid, did you make her warp? Nope. Really? Tharja doesn't warp. That's actually surprising. Huh. I would have had her be like, she fades into view, so it's a flavor of warp. And what do we do with Tiki? Teleports. Okay. Yeah. And then Tsubasa, I doubt she warps. Oh my god, it's long. Okay, I see. Yeah, that's complicated. So yeah, I guess we're gonna warp. Celica will warp onto the stage. Using warp magic. As motes of light swirl around her because she's using light magic, so that makes sense. home stage. I'm going to go and do a home stage now. Home stage is for characters we like to always, well, not every character's home stage that we, well, not every character we make on the Smashtopia wiki has their home stage created on the wiki. Sometimes it takes years for it to happen. Sometimes we get the home stage first, and then the character takes years to happen. It's just a thing. We like to at least write down an idea for a stage that could come with that character, like how in the Smash Ultimate DLC, whenever you get a character for DLC, they will come with a stage. Sometimes those stages are something personal to that character. Sometimes it's just something from their game that is an iconic location. It kind of depends on what you want to go with. Uh, so I had to think about something from this game, what would be a good location, and that is Fire Emblem is hard. Let me put it that way. We'll look here at location. Look to see if there's anything. Temple of Mila could make sense. Duma Tower, Duma Temple, Zofia Castle. I don't remember what all these places are, but those things are things that make sense to me for Celica. So let's see here. Temple of Mila. We got some concept art. Ooh, I kind of like how this place looks. It's a shrine dedicated to Mila, who is who Celica worships, and that she's a priestess for. And you actually, I think do you actually fight there? Can't quite tell, but I like how this place looks. I'm having a few stage ideas for this, not gonna lie. Okay. Doom Tower, there's no picture for. That's kind of hard to do. Doom Temple. Zofia Castle. Oh. Come on, bring up this picture. Ooh, I kind of like this. I have ideas based off that concept art, but I usually try not to do concept art and use like actual official art or in-game images. But this kind of is similar. Oh, and that's it. Those are my options. Okay. That's outside of the castle. It looks nice. Okay. And all of these Temple of Meals are concept art, so I'd have to be breaking that rule regardless. I could see myself using this though. I have a concept, stage concept, just based off of this picture alone. Is this stuff actually a place that you go to in a battle though? I kind of wonder. Let's look at chapters. That's not necessarily a deal breaker. I want to see here. Okay, this is structured differently, so I don't really know. But you know what? I'm gonna write it down. Temple of Mila is gonna be Celica's home stage. All right, now I gotta figure out taunts and victory puzzles. This always is difficult for me, as I mentioned. But we do have one good victory pose already, which we can pull up straight from looking at Fire Emblem Warriors. We need to go back to seeing that video. So I can note this down and accurately portray this. If the video is good. Okay, good. I got it right to the point I need to see. I'm gonna mute the video for this one so I can set it to be at playback speed of 50%, 25%. That way I can have a better view of like, okay, here's how it looks, here's exactly how she's moving, because that is always more helpful for me. So Celica, she's swinging her sword, spinning in front, kind of looking like a ballet pose there. And then she holds her sword in front of her, bows her head in a prayer, and says some quotes that I don't know because that's Japanese. Okay, I'm going to write this down here. Celica will start out being... Celica will have her back to the screen, I mean, before swinging her sword in front of her and spinning in an acrobatic and spinning in a circle in an acrobatic manner uh, before holding up her sword in front of her, bowing her head and saying, I don't know what quote she would say here. Celica Fire Emblem Warrior quotes. That's something I will do a lot too. Is like when it gets to this point, I will look up quotes for a character, and sometimes they will inspire me of an animation of some sort. And hopefully, yes, after battle. Oh no, no, I saw up here victory lines. May Mila the Earth Mother watch over us. I'm going to cut that down because that's way too long for a victory pose animation. So as long as have it be May Mila watch over us. Boom. First victory pose done. Let's go. So let's see here. Are there any other quotes that sound interesting? Hmm. I could do that as like a an inverse of her victory animation. I could have Celica look up to the sky as if looking up to Mila, saying, "Mila, give me strength." I think that could work as a comparison. So yeah, that's up taunt. Mila will look up into the sky as if I said Mila will look up. So oh, I have a issue here with typing a vector post. There you go. We fixed that. Celica will look up into the sky as if to address, as if, damn it, as if to address Mila. Uh, before saying, what was the quote? I lost it. Where was my quote? Oh, here. It says, I just closed the tab. Fantastic. Good job, me being stupid. Mila, give me strength. That's it. Okay. We still got to come up with 4 more here. Um, maybe something with like the feathers that can come out of the Seraphim spell. So like Celica um holds creates a feather made of holy light in front of her and blows it forward, and it just like lazily drifts forward and down to the ground before it disappears. I think I like that. Celica will hold out her hand and create a feather, a shining feather of divine light, of divine light. Celica will then blow. Will no. Will then gently blow air towards the feather, causing it to gently drift forward a short distance before falling to the ground. Okay, cool. I like that. Is there anything kind of amusing or unique maybe that we could have her do? Let's look back at other quotes that she has maybe from other games. Any other iconic quotes from Celica? Let's see here. Let's look at engage quotes actually. Hmm, hmm, hmm. Oh, right. I was going to do the one about her eating the food. That's right. Where's provisions? Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. Do I want that to be a taunt or a victory animation? It could go in either spot. So it might be like whatever we complete first, we put provisions in the other one. That might be the thing. I'm kind of leaning towards that being a victory animation, or it could make it be like a long taunt where if you just press the button, Celica will just like pull out an apple and take a bite. But if you hold it down, then Celica will like just keep eating the apple until it's done, or she gets attacked. And then, but if you do that, can you cancel out of it? I mean, I feel like if you're gonna be funny, if you're gonna go for the taunt, going for the taunt. Screw it. Let's do that. That's gonna be our third and final taunt for Celica. Celica will take out a will take an apple out of her provisions. That way I make it clear this is a reference to provisions. And take a bite out of it. If the taunt input is held down, then Celica will continue to eat the apple until it is either gone or she gets attacked. It's attacked or disturbed in some manner by the fight. That I'm including that because it's like if she's not directly attacked, but she's still hit by some kind of effect, or if she's standing on a platform, that platform falls out from under her, that would count as canceling out the taunt animation. So back to victory animations here. I need some more quotes here. If there's anything good. Victory animation shots are always so hard for me. Oh, what do I want to do here? I think. We do something more with the Seraphim, where she flies in with her divine wings. Um, I pictured a superhero landing. I was like, no, I think that's a little ridiculous to do here. So let's have Celica flies onto, or Celica is seen flying through the air using her wings from the Seraphim spell. Celica swoops and spins through the air as she laughs. No. Let's retype that. Celica will joyously laugh as she spins and swoops through the air. Before landing down on the ground, and I can't think of what is the word. Where it's like you brush your hair back like that, and for landing down the ground, and then what is the word? You're using your hand to do this thing. Celica is seen flying through the air using her wings from the Seraphim spell. Celica will joyously laugh as she spins and swoops through the air, having a good time. I'm going to include that in there. Having a good time before landing down on the ground and brushing her hair back with her hand, I guess. Or sure, screw it. I know what I'm trying to picture. I just don't know how to put that in words, and sometimes it is really hard to do that. Unfortunate for me. So third and final victory pose. This is the last thing that we need to figure out here for Celica, and then we are done. I still have to type up her moves and The info laid out on her alternate costumes, but conceptually she would be done at this point, or will be. So what other things can we do with her quotes? Let's look at quotes from her actual game. That could be as an option. I was thinking maybe she just stands in place, hands claps in front of her, um, as divine holy light just surrounds her. She doesn't say anything. I'm not so sure about it because it doesn't seem like there's enough there. Hmm. Wait, is there a quote with her provisions? Hang on. Okay, there's not. Uh, no. Okay. Do 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 do. Um. Hmm. I'm kind of leaning just having the simple prayer. Or maybe just like a display of like multiple like swinging in place with a sword, practicing her moves. Uh, but I feel like it's kind of that's too close to her original to her first victory pose, which we pulled from Warrior. So I don't think I really want to do that. Ooh, I do have an idea for something though. Do you have any quotes about Alm? Oh wait, we're not on the quotes page anymore. Here you go. Here we go. Uh, I expect no less from you. I know I can always count on you. We'll become someone you can be proud of. Let's have another like that. I have to keep pace with you. None of those really sound like how I'd want to do. Because I was thinking like how some characters will have like a unique quote if their opponent, if a certain character was an opponent in battle. It's like, what if she has a special quote for Alm? That could make sense. Not that I immediately have ideas for an Alm character moveset, but it's a small thing that I could throw in there. Or maybe do. I don't know. Not really much in here for Alm quotes. Does she have any for heroes? Mm, not that I can really. Not that's really usable. That's a darn shame. Damn. I kind of think I just think the simple prayer is what it's gonna be. Celica will have her hands clasped in front of her and her eyes closed as divine light emanates from her. Celica will open her eyes and say, "Were you watching, Alm? Maybe I feel like it's kind of a tropey thing. That might work for her. And maybe instead, maybe this one where it's like, okay, if Alm was part of the battle, then Celica will instead say, I bet you didn't expect that, huh, Alm? Maybe that. I think that works for me. I don't know if that's quite Celica's personality, but I like that for now. But I think that is it here. We actually almost hit our 2 hour time slots. So wow, we like I said, I on a good day when I've got a good character that when I have plenty like when I have the good resources for doing research, I can get a character done in 2 hours. Now, of course, tapping out all the details on the special moves is going to add a little bit more time to it. But we had some intro. It averages out. So yeah, that's Celica. Celica is done here. Finally, after all these years, I have finished. Well, I don't need type of moves, but I've conceptualized fully what my Celica moveset will be, and now hopefully, sooner than 6 months, I'll have finished typing her up in full, and getting her put up on the wiki. There are still some characters from that we've done this season that are not on the wiki yet, and it. Listen, man, I just need time. I need time. I need motivation. It's a thing. It's a thing we all got to deal with. But yeah, we went through in this episode without Jono, just me, solo Zantok. I showed my process. I showed my Google Doc, and this is how I make my character. This is how this was a running through of consciousness, thinking of how I would turn Celica into a fighter in Super Smash Brothers. I think this was a success. Whether or not you think it was a success is your opinion. And you can let us know if you think this was good, if you think this was bad, if you think we should do something else the next time we can't both get together for a Smashtopia and our schedules are just too volatile. Sometimes things happen. But that's it. I'm gonna go say goodbye, and then I'll tell you that next time on Super Cast Brothers, assuming schedules go back to being normal, because this was not what we were supposed to be doing for this episode. This would be a different character entirely, who may not have to get punted the next season or just rearranged somewhere later in this season. Who knows? I'm trying to find what tab all that is. Where is my... Where's my note tab? Oh, here it is. What is next episode? Next episode is going to be a Smash Dash, that much I knew. But it's going to be between 4 different characters, again, not too crazy. 4 characters who live in different kinds of environments. So, earth, water, air, and a fourth one that I won't say here for now. But characters from different kinds of worlds, different environments. That's going to be our Smash Dash theme for the next one. And with that, I'll see you all then, and hopefully Jonno will be there too. Bye, everyone.